Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. This video is another discussion of how the press and academics work together to create a completely fake story. The Atlantic magazine says that people are going to flee the southern and western U.S. and move to places like Detroit because of the burning of fossil fuels. Extreme heat, drought, and fires in the south and west could present an opportunity for much of the north. Tens of millions of Americans may move in response to these changes. That's a fascinating story, but data shows the exact opposite. What's actually happening is that people are fleeing the cold climate of the northern United States and moving to the southern United States. Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, and South Carolina added almost 1.2 million people between them last year. The South was the only region to draw new net residents from other states. People like warm climates, and they always have. I attended Arizona State University 50 years ago, and about 90% of the people associated with my fraternity house were from the upper Midwest. The reason they chose Arizona State University was because of the nice climate. My freshman year was 1974, when Phoenix had 18 consecutive days over 110 degrees. That record stood as Phoenix's longest heat wave until last year. In 2009, University of Arizona climate change scientist Jonathan Overpeck said, temperatures could regularly hit the 130s in Phoenix by the second half of this century due to human-caused climate change. The question isn't whether Lake Mead and Lake Powell will go dry, it's when. But meanwhile, back in the real world, Maricopa County, which includes Phoenix, is the fastest growing county in the United States. The last time Phoenix reached 120 degrees was almost 30 years ago in 1995. Arizona has only recorded 7 consecutive days over 120 degrees 2 times. The first time was during June 1896 during a global heat wave and drought which killed tens of millions of people around the world. The second and last time was during July 1905. This is what Arizona looked like this afternoon. The ski area at Flagstaff has already received more than 204 inches of snow. One of the reasons why Arizona is a nice place to live is because you can be in warm weather and deep snow on the same day. Stream flow is somewhat reduced in the Colorado River, and this is largely due to biofuels mandates from the U.S. government. Huge amounts of water are diverted from the Colorado River drainage on the western slope of the Rocky Mountains and moved to the Front Range of Colorado where people grow corn to produce ethanol. The reduction in streamflow on the Colorado River is due largely to politicians pushing the global warming scam. The Atlantic claims that wildfires in the western and southern U.S. are getting worse due to people burning fossil fuels. But the reality is that burn acreage has plummeted in the United States since the 1930s, and last year was one of the lowest on record. The percentage of hot days in the United States has also plummeted since the 1930s. On July 13, 1936, people were dying from the heat in Detroit once every 10 minutes. I've never seen anything like it in my 16 years of experience here, said Dr. Ryan, Chief Medical Examiner at the morgue. This article in The Atlantic is typical fake news from the U.S. press. And academics are more than happy to get their 15 minutes of fame by assisting the press in creating their fake news. People are going to continue moving to Phoenix from cold climates because they like the weather there. The Sonoran Desert is full of beautiful wildflowers right now, while most of the rest of the country is expecting large amounts of snow. I took this picture a little bit east of Phoenix on New Year's Day 5 years ago. It was very cold and my hands got numb operating the drone. There were several large snowstorms in Arizona during 2019, including the largest single-day snow on record at Flagstaff. At this point, the U.S. press corps has zero credibility on almost every topic. Their job appears to be misinformation rather than accurate information. In 2008, the press and academics predicted that climate refugees would be moving to Antarctica by the year 2030, and that the population of Antarctica would reach 3.5 million people by 2040. Antarctica recently had their coldest 6 months on record, and temperatures there are far too cold for anyone to survive without a large amount of fossil fuels. The climate scare from the press has been reduced to third-rate science fiction. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on the climate scam for 16 years. You can visit him and his family on the web at realclimatescience.com.